the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old-style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubbies, Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Boutros Ghali.
Ranto.
Michael.
Ranto.
Cotton.
Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Michael Cotton.
Ranto.
Boutros Ghali. Hello, and welcome to the Ranto Show podcast, a serious Chicago Cubs podcast. With me, Michael Cotton, infield fly girl out in Seattle, and the host and star of the show, Danny Rocket. Take it away, Danny.
We're here to talk stats, and more stats. IFG, have you brought your stats?
No, I haven't.
Well, I've got glasses to make it look like I am a smart baseball brain and that I spit out numbers to make the Cubs the best team in baseball.
Just to let everyone know what's going on here is after we saw the Ranto Ranters Roundtable, and everybody there had great opinions and all these things, and everybody's being taken serious. We are not taken serious. We've been doing this as long as anybody else. And so we hired a consultant, and we were told we need to be more serious, more into the numbers. Don't talk about fun things. Nothing about the fans in the stands. Nothing about the plays on the field. It's really just about the numbers. And so that's what we're doing. We have also been told we're no longer allowed to say things like Jed is a cocksucker.
No,
or
that's off.
Tom Ricketts is a greedy motherfucker.
No, we're done with that.
Or that David Ross couldn't manage his ass out of a wet fucking paper sack. All of that stuff is no longer allowed on the Ranto Show. Please stick with us. We hope you enjoy the next 2.5 dull fucking hours of your life.
The new and improved Ranto Show. Let me give you our first number is that the Ranto Show is brought to you by our 115 Patreon supporters. Thank you for supporting us at patreon.com/Sunranto. Among our super subscribers and super supporters are Blake Beard and his fabulous third baseline tickets. If you're looking for a pair of tickets down the third base line at Wrigley Field, you look no further than at the Blake Beard on Twitter. Also, Rogue Wave Creative for all your branding, graphic, and web design needs, and the Cubs PS Plus podcast, the Northside Numbers Game. As always, we are giving away a very sensible prize, and that is a #chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doob inscribed on the back. And anyway, it's you win a fabulous prize at the end of the year. And also, I'd like to just welcome everybody to the Ranto Show tonight, all of our listeners and subscribers, and everybody tuning in live. We love you all.
Now I look like I just got drafted.
Okay, can we drop this bit? It's really warm in here.
I know. I'm like, I'm dying. I'm like, wearing a tie like this is the first time since my cousin's wedding.
This is, by the way, this is a very nice tie, and it is a Cubs tie.
Very nice. Mine is a Cubs tie in so that it is an American tie, and Cubs are America's team as far as I'm concerned.
It's an American tie.
I'm just delighted to report to all of you that was absolutely a bit that we came up with at the last minute, and you have not signed up for 2.5 hours of us trying to talk about numbers like they mean something.
No, but you have signed up to welcome some incredible people that had an incredible day the other day at Wrigley Field. They are my friends and bleacher bums who were engaged at Wrigley Field just the other day, just this weekend. So we're going to bring them on the show. Fitzy and Megan, welcome to the Ranto Show, and congratulations on your engagement on the field at Wrigley Field. How are you guys doing? Where are you?
Cheers to the newlyweds.
Newly engaged.
Yeah,
engaged. The newlyweds to be.
Oh, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you for some reason. Mute.
They
Unmute.
are. There we go.
We got nothing. Yeah, go out and come back in, Ben, and I'll show pictures of you guys. They can't hear us. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that.
But we could just hear him right before the show, and now we can't hear him.
Yeah, let me remove them from the whole situation. They're going to go out and come back in. But let me just tell you what happened, because you know how I'm always doing the rum chata joke about every time there's an engagement at Wrigley Field. All right, well, let's see if we can bring him on now. How about now? Yay, we got you.
Now we can hear you.
What's up, guys?
Hi, let me just introduce you to our or ranters out there in Rancherland. But this is Fitzy and Megan, and they just got engaged at Wrigley Field the other day. And
Congratulations.
And I just got to show a real quick picture of how you did this, because you got an Fitzy, you got an obvious shirt made that said, "Megan, will you marry me? Yes or no?" You handed her a Sharpie, at which point you gave her a ring, got on your knee right on the batting circle, and she marked, "Yes, I will," on the obvious shirt. So
obviously.
Yes, you got it.
So Megan, you had no idea that this was going to happen. This was a complete surprise.
Yep. Yes, it was.
Let's see the ring. Awesome. Let's see the ring.
So my hand, because since we're in New Orleans.
Yeah, you're in New Orleans right now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So
it's not fitting. Yeah.
It's not.
It's so humid there is the problem.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, Megan found out about humidity today.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let me show, actually, it's really cool how you did the ring, which is you put it inside of a baseball, and then you opened up the baseball like it was a ring box. And this is just so cool. I'm showing this to everybody.
Yeah. Tell us this. You kind of told me this right before the show. So tell this story about this baseball. It's an amazing story.
Yeah, it was before Contreras, before he left. And, you know, he likes to toy with people in the outfield. So he threw Megan one, but, you know, we're not like 30 feet tall. It ended up landing in like Ken's backyard. So he laughed and he threw another one up, and it hit her glove. But I was just space cadetting, but I happened to have my hand out, and I caught it off the bounce off of her glove. So right then and there, I was like, snap, I'm going to save this for a later day. So I switched out what she thought was her toss-up from Wilson, and I had it all along hidden away. But the best part about that is most of all the bombs in 504 knew about this for almost a year prior to this. So,
oh, wow.
Like, every one of them kept it a secret. So, like, everyone knew but this one.
I'm gonna throw.
Very well done.
You got some. You got the date done on two different jerseys. One with the number 7, one with the number 14, which was Friday, right? So this all happened on Friday.
Oh, okay, so I absolutely love this, because if you look at my jersey, that is Michael Cotton 12, and my wife has a 7 because we got married on July 12th. So so I love the idea that you guys had there. It's
idea.
So much fun.
So you got Fitzy and Mrs. Fitzy, and what does yours say? Just you both have Cottons, right?
Yeah, ours both just say Cotton, but we got it for on our wedding as like a gift. Yeah.
So and then you just took off for New Orleans.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's it.
So
she had never been. So
if somebody wants to get married or get engaged on Wrigley Field, which you did, you were actually on the batting circle when it happened. How did you go about getting on the field passes?
Oh, well, see, it was actually supposed to go down even way better than that. For being the season ticket holders, that, you know, you get certain events, and we were supposed to actually bring the ball out that day. So I actually was going to do it like right off of the pitcher's mound, but something last minute happened and we got bumped, and they gave that to someone else. Oh. But yeah, I was like, so that's what made it even more bananas, because my rep told me, she's like, when we were down there watching BP, she's like, oh yeah, by the way, something happened, but I'm going to make it up for you. And I've got it made up for you already. But you're not going to be bringing out the game ball. She told me that away from Megan. And I'm like, I'm like sitting there. I don't want to drop an F-bomb or anything, but, I was like, oh, shit. So I started
you can
calling
absolutely drop all the F-bombs you want. Trust me. That was a bit we were doing. That is not real.
Okay, I didn't want to get anybody in trouble, but so I was like, fuck, and all of a sudden I just started calling the bleachers. I'm like, oh shit, it's got to go down right fucking now. It's going down now. Go get everybody, because it's got to go down right now, or it's not going to happen on the field. So as soon as I made that phone call, I ran over to the opposing team's dugout, and I looked at security. I showed him the ball in the ring, and then he let me kind of slide over there to put the ring in the ball. Because I didn't want to lose the ring, because I could never find the way to actually close the baseball. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to end up, go up there. Oh, wait, no ring. So,
I was actually going to ask you about the baseball too. Like, is the baseball just cut in half, or did you have somebody?
Yeah, what I did is we used a bandsaw at work and a pair of channel locks. Big, pipe fitter channel locks. And we just did it through. We cut it almost all the way open. And then I got a Dremel and then just kind of dug out the middle so at least it would rest in that part, and then dug out the top so it wouldn't get all that dirty stuff in it as well. So,
well, it's a very pretty ring. Is that a sapphire in the middle?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
very cool.
Ladies, if your man ain't doing this for you, he's not the one.
Yeah, and I love it. The Cubby blue sapphire is brilliant.
Very cool.
That's 100%, because I figured even though the true Ireland would have been the emerald, I'm like, no, we like blue over the emerald, in Chicago. So,
I definitely owe you a bottle of rum chata to congratulate you on your engagement. So when you get back from New Orleans, I'll definitely have that waiting for you.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I want to say congratulations. I thought it was such a cool thing that you did, and it's such a unique experience that you had, and it's too bad that the Cubs didn't let you bring out the game ball. It's like, to change your plan in the middle. It's just like freaking typical Cubs. Hey, that thing we promised you, like being good this season? We can't do it. That thing we promised you about delivering the game ball? We can't do that either. Like, we're going to stink as a team, and we're going to stink as to their fans. But,
right.
I don't want to shit on your parade here.
Right. Because some of them knew about it. Like our rep knew, and some other people knew, because we had other of our friends that work at Wrigley. They all knew, so they weren't just going to, because have you seen the videos where other guys have been getting arrested shortly after when they do their proposal on the field?
Yeah, that's not the best part of the proposal, for sure.
And doing it like the recent guys. So, I'll let certain guys in security know, like, hey, don't arrest me. It's just going to be 30 seconds, So,
can you imagine?
Technically, they have to do their job, even though they know us, they still got to do their job.
Well,
so.
I think you could, I've seen you. I think you could outrun most of Wrigley security. I mean, that's my guess. Like, even the guys they got doing the ball, getting the balls on the field, like, Fabian's not that fast. He's just,
like to work with. But yeah, I mean, it was nice. I mean, I appreciate it. And then what I want to say is the Authentics haven't fully loaded yet, but the Cubs actually, I don't know if you saw when I posted it, they actually gave us a congratulations ball on the engagement. Like, it's got an authenticator tag and everything, but I haven't seen if it loaded to see where the ball came from, or if the authenticator just picked up a random ball and said, this is the one that's going to be it. But it says, like, congratulations on the engagement. So
was that what your rep was talking about?
Yeah, that's what the rep was talking about.
Yeah.
She brought it up later in the game and then did that as well.
It's like,
and then
like when a restaurant brings you dessert after screwing up your steak. Twice.
Yes.
Right, twice. Yeah,
here's a free chocolate cake.
And then it was cool later in the game. Jeff, he put us on the Jumbotron and then had Megan like redo it on the Jumbotron. So that was pretty nice of him. And the marquee camera crew hooked it up and put us on marquee. We didn't even know till Megan's mom sent a text. She's like, look, check this video out. Y'all made it on marquee. So
that is so cool.
And don't worry, they won't use that for the next like 20 years to promote Chicago Cubs baseball and give you nothing for it.
Right? But
You're going to be the new Bleacher Jeff.
Right? All that credit for nothing.
Well, that's very cool. I just wanted to say congratulations, have you on the show, let everybody know everything that's going on. We'll let you guys go and enjoy New Orleans and your vacation down there. The music is amazing. I know you already know that. It's coming out of every set of windows down there. And, I would just say my only advice is don't try to buy weed from the homeless guys.
They already tried.
Yeah, it's bad. Like this guy had a knife. Like they took me somewhere weird. Like it was all bad. Just it's a rough town. Yeah. Stick to the beignets. Stick to the lit streets. You'll be all right.
Yes,
definitely.
So
awesome.
Congratulations, guys. We'll see you back in the bleachers. All right, so long.
Yeah, have a great trip.
Oh man, I love New Orleans.
I have not been to New Orleans yet.
Yeah, you never been, either one of you?
Mm-mm.
No, Emily went one year with a friend of hers for like 4 days, but she came back and was in love with it. We haven't been able to get there yet.
Yeah, I've been a few times. It's just awesome. Just great music everywhere. So I'm kind of stalling because I don't really want to talk about the Cubs losing 2-3 to the Red Sox to start the second half of the year. But I do have good news for everybody, is that a little bit more bleacher history news is that my Thai guy will be by later in the show. He's at work right now. He's just going to pop in a little bit because today is the anniversary where he taught those damn little kids a lesson about how the bleachers work. It at Wrigley Field is that if it's a gamer, then it's all bets are off. I don't care. There's no fairness in it, but all balls belong to my Tide. And we'll celebrate this moment where there he is taking. This is a little bit better of a shot from further away. You can see those kids with their short arms can't reach it. My Thai, full-grown man, can reach the baseball, and he ended up with the baseball. So we're going to talk to him a little bit. We'll relive that moment.
When I was looking at the rundown for the show and everything we got coming up, prior to the show, for a minute there, I thought my Thai guy had stolen another ball, but from a couple that was getting married. Like that's because I didn't know what we were doing. I'm like, did my guys steal a ball from a couple that got engaged? Like
that's a mashup. Yeah. So go ahead, please.
I have nothing. No, go.
We do have a Red Sox poem. Do you want me to start it off with that?
Yeah, we might as well.
Might as well. Back from the break, looking to rake, but Cubs are broke and we got meatloaf.
We didn't.
Stroman got the stop versus the Red Sox, but Hendo can't throw and Steele lost his feel. Start the second half with Cubs getting bashed. Wait till next year for next to start here.
I like the poem, but we did not get meatloaf. We
served meatloaf.
Yeah, we served meatloaf.
Wait.
The Cubs are broken. We served meatloaf to the Red Sox who ate the meatloaf.
Well, you know what? I will change it. I will put we served meatloaf. Thanks. See, and this is why, like, it's so much easier to write when you have other people around to like point shit out like that.
Everyone needs an editor.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll switch that up before it actually hits the Reddit page.
So in the overall series, the Cubs were outscored 23-18. And normally when we scored 6 runs average per game. Normally you would win those games, but especially when you had Stroman and Steele and Hendo on the mound, the top 3. So I think it was a little disappointing how it all ended up. The Cubs, I looked it up today, and it's 4.65 runs per game is what they've been scoring, and that's kept us under 500. It's been very average, and we are now 0-8 on Sundays at Wrigley.
Well, that whole 4.65 runs a game is misleading because it's one game where they score 10, right? And then another one, sure, they scored 5, but they were down by 11 before they scored the first one. And it's like, so it's like 4.65 is actually not like that should be about a 500 team, right? Like that makes it feel like that. But when you really look at it, it's like, well, no, they only scored 3 and they score a lot of 1s and 2s, but then they bust out for one of these like 10-run games and it skews what that is overall and makes it actually look better. So that 4.65, I would say, is probably better than what these Cubs generally do day in, day out.
It's certainly not a statistic that's indicative of winning. Like it's an interesting number to know that on average we score, a little less than 5 runs a game, but you don't. Average runs aren't going to get you into the playoffs. You have to actually win the games.
Just like how we're really ahead of every single team in the National League, or at least in our division, in most offensive categories and pitching categories. We're better than them, and we
it's just numbers you have to be mad at. Like, there's no other reason to know that number except to be mad at it.
Yeah, I mean,
like, why can't we win if we're scoring 5 runs a game?
Well, and you know where I'm coming in on that. Like, so IFG, you're asking, why can't we win if we're doing that? Like, it is a 500 team. Danny, you're saying we have all these stats that prove that we're better. Well, then what is killing us? Front office and management. The things that they are doing are hurting this team. And I know I've seen some conspiracy theories out there that they're doing that on purpose. Like they're specifically trying to do this. I don't know if they are. If they are, they're doing a good job at that. I guess that's the only compliment I have. It seems though like they just don't know what they're doing. And one of the things is this Hendricks start, right? So I looked into it because Tucker Barnhart, who shouldn't be on this team or probably any other Major League Baseball team, has caught Hendricks the last 2 times he's gone out. And what do we know about the last 2 times Hendricks has gone out? He sucked
quite badly.
And so you're like, wait a second. So what's going on? Well, I looked. Gomes caught 3 games with Hendo, including the very first one. The first 2, actually, and one of those was good, one was bad. The first one was not that great. And then he caught one later. Like 4 games later, and Amaya started catching him every game except for that one like random game that Gomes caught. So Gomes caught 3 games, no home runs given up. Amaya caught 5 games with Hendo, 2 home runs, 1 home run in 2 different games. So it's not like it was 2 home runs in one game. It was, 1 here and then 1 a month later. And then Barnhart, in the last 2 games, Hendricks has given up 6 home runs. His ERA has climbed in those 2 games from 2.64 to 3.57. Like, just having Barnhart there. Like, what are they? That right there, that is not a Cubs player problem. That's not necessarily a Hendricks problem. That is the management putting the wrong lineup out there
again
for some reason. Yeah.
And Chip writes in, why do we need to carry 3 catchers? And what a coincidence it started when Ross took over. Garbage. Just play Amaya and have Gomes mentor him. DFA freaking Barnyard. I don't mind having 3 catchers. It's just like having 3 catchers that only catch
catchers. It doesn't make any sense to have 2 good catchers and a terrible catcher.
Exactly. I'm a huge fan of having 3 catchers. It's helped us out in the past because, somebody ends up with a flat tire and then you have a catcher being overworked for ages and ages. So like, I'm fine, especially now that we have the DH, you have that extra roster spot. Like, just, you can, keep people up on their bats if you're managing them correctly. So that's all fine, but having an objectively bad catcher taking up one of those 3 spots and destroying one of your best pitchers' starts repeatedly is just poor management.
And Barnhart this year, it hasn't been great. And then the thing is, more importantly, I mean, to have Barnhart on the team, to not be short a catcher, to have an extra catcher that you're stashing, so you don't end up without a catcher like they did really last year and the year before. It was like pretty tough to find, once like Wilson would be out or something, it was just like nobody, but it was, but to bring Amaya up and to not play him is what's pissing me off, because
absolutely,
we sat there and we thought that Amaya, maybe they give Amaya to Hendo. That's really cool. And we're all like applauding that. We're like,
and that was
yeah.
basically the whole month of June, which, by the way, was a great month for Hendo.
Yeah, so it pisses me off. And then and I have this later in the notes, but we can talk about it now. The Cubs, and this is IFG, that's happy early birthday for you, because PJ Higgins was then signed. I guess Dom Nunez is hurt down at AAA. So now your backup to the backup is hurt. So they needed to do something. So they traded. Well, it wasn't really a trade. They bought with cash.
See, because they can do that. They can do that. They have money.
And PJ Higgins is back in the Cubs org, acquired from the Diamondbacks for a cash consideration. But then instantly everybody's there. Look
at that Higgins jersey.
Yeah. There's something you don't have, Ranters.
He hit his first career home run when I was in the left field bleachers. I said, well, I guess I'm buying a jersey.
He did. I was there. And it was, but and he was fine. PJ Higgins, he was like serviceable backup catcher type, and provide some depth there, especially if you have him out. But Chip says Higgins can play first base. Yeah, that too.
And that's the other thing with carrying 3 catchers, right? It's not insane to carry 3 catchers, especially if 1 or 2 of them can and do play other positions. You know what I mean? Like, you see a lot of catchers that will, go out to first base for a game or 2 to give the first baseman a break. We have a DH. They can do that all the time, but they don't. There are options, but they have all 3 of these catchers. They do not despite the fact that we are short players on defense. Like, we are short outfielders, we're short third baseman, we're short first baseman. We have problems out there. These guys only play catcher, and they don't put them in. Well, unless you're Barnhart and you pitch the end of games like today.
Well, the problem is we're also carrying 3 first basemen. And so where the catcher would also play first base, we have like plenty of dudes there as well. You got Bellinger.
Are any of them good at it? Oh, wait, there is Cody Bellinger.
Yeah,
Bellinger's good at it. And he also hits. And that's been, sort of a frustration of mine.
Yeah, let's talk about him hitting, because even in that first game, the Cubs lost it 8-3. I was out there. It was humid. And it was just so humid. It sucked because it was a night game, which is dumb as hell to do that on a Friday night. I mean, there's very few things that are unique in baseball as far as like tradition goes. One of them is Chicago has Friday afternoon home games in the summer. And it's just one of these things. In fact, look, there is a shirt made by Obvious Shirts, our official, unofficial t-shirt company, the Obvious Shirts. It says Friday 120. Guess what shirt will never sell from Obvious Shirts? Friday 705. Not a big seller.
I was just telling somebody at work. There's this guy at work who doesn't know much about baseball, but one of his clients is a really big baseball fan. So he like keeps coming up to me for like baseball trivia to talk to his client about. And I was just telling him about how like one of the major like traditions in Chicago baseball is Friday at 1:20 at Wrigley Field, and then like the next day they went and did not that, and I'm like, you guys are tempting the baseball gods is what you're doing.
Well,
this is the only religion I've got, and I am very superstitious about it, and that is tempting the baseball gods. And guess what you got for it?
Yeah, a loss, but Bellinger,
a humid, rainy loss too. Like, it wasn't even a fun loss.
Well, I left early because in the 8th, you could see on the radar this just giant system was about to hit us, and I'm like, so we got out in the bottom of the 7th, went 1, 2, 3 real quick. I'm like, this team does not have it in him tonight. This is not going to happen. I don't want to die with lightning. And so I'm just going home,
Well, and you weren't the only one. At the end of that game, I don't know, one of the Red Sox hit a home run or something. The bleachers were pretty sparse out there, you know?
It was Yu Chang hit a home run.
Yu Chang, he did. And Devers hit 2. And this was a weird thing that happened. This was a Grandpa Lossy moment because
absolutely stupid. I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, so I think it was in the 5th inning or something like that, or right in the middle of the game. Devers had already hit 2 home runs. Kyle Hendricks, and Devers is a lefty, Kyle's a righty. So they choose, there's 2 outs. And Hendo's at like 80 pitches ish. So he could keep going. But they pitch to Devers again. Like everybody's being like, why are you pitching to Devers?
Big dum-dums.
Yeah. He's already hit 2 home runs in the game. Why are you trying to let him hit a third? So anyway, he gets a single off of Hendo. Then Ross comes out, pulls him to pitch to yet another lefty who's coming right after him. And then it's K. So instead of like trusting your guy, Hendo to keep going, he's at 84 pitches. They pull him, then bring in K, who immediately walks the next guy, and then ends up having to get the righty out. And it's just like, why?
Right. Well, I mean, yeah. Why? If you're going to make the change, you make it before Devers.
So I have a personal running theory. Devers. I have a personal running theory that Rossi has simply not assimilated any of the rule changes that have happened in the last 5 or 6 years, which is why he keeps forgetting how to use the DH and that we don't have loogies anymore.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and it's just like, if you're going to trust him against Devers, and we were having this conversation in the bleachers, and they were like, well, no, you got to send him back out there because it's a pitching contest. And I'm like, no, it's a baseball game. Like if you don't think he's got it tonight and you think he's only got like not much in the tank left, just take him out. Just put the lefty in now. Let the lefty face Devers because it's already, I don't know. Like it all went fine, but
already proven that he's killing Kyle Hendricks already. And you're not going to give Kyle Hendricks much rope. Why not? Why give him any rope? Just, there's no sense in challenging him after he had already like owned Kyle twice in the game.
It was dumb. What do you guys think of Morel playing second base?
Morel is a good second baseman. He absolutely is, because Morel's a great freaking athlete. He can play most of the positions on the field.
I'm fine with it, except that I know it's going to last as long as it takes Dansby Swanson to come back onto the field, and then he's going to be bounced around all to hell again. I want him to have a job. I really don't give a shit where it is. Just give him a job and keep him there. But they're not doing that.
Yeah, he makes some fun plays out there, and he definitely he
can make those fun plays at third base as well.
Yeah,
he will make
the position where we need a person to be consistently.
Somebody made a good point the other day about, I forget who it was, about that second base is a better position for Morel because he doesn't have as much time to think about things with the ball.
I firmly believe that. Christopher is a big thinker, and he tends to get inside his head, and when he does that, he performs a little bit less well than he could.
Yeah, like the double clutch, and or just like he did something dumb the other day when he
which is why he doesn't perform as well when he's straight up DH. He's got all that time to sit down and think about things, and you can't think and hit at the same time. So, I'm fine with that, except that I know full well that he won't ever be a full-time second baseman. And he deserves to be a full-time player somewhere on that field. He is, by many numbers, the best hitter on the team right now.
Yeah, and if you're going to choose a spot for a guy like that, a guy that has an above-average glove, and he's got a powerful arm, you don't put him at second. You put him at third where he can use that arm. And by the way, third base is called the hot corner for a reason. It's quick.
Because it's on fire?
Well, no, but you're talking about he doesn't have as much time to think. Well, third base, you don't have that time to think either because you have to get that ball out of the glove and across the field quickly. I mean, not everybody's Yachty and takes, a day and a half to get to first. So you got to get the ball over there, and that's why they want a strong arm person over there.
Morel was out of position on taking a throw. Like, he was on the wrong side of the bag on this one play that we were talking about on Friday night. And I forget if it resulted in runs and stuff like that. Probably did, because it was kind of a sloppy game. They did score.
Oh, and Danny just kind of froze up on us.
Oh, sorry. I was.
Oh, there he goes.
I was arguing with Crawley about this in the bleachers, he was like, "Do you see Morel? He was out of position and he wasn't. He wasn't in the right place to take the throw." And I said, "No, because here's the thing: let him out there every day. Give him that position. Let him play third every day. Let him get better at it." And they're like, "Well, you can't do it if you're trying to be competitive." And I'm like,
"We're not trying to be competitive."
Yes, that's the way. Exactly.
Let him eat some innings at third base. Let him screw up and learn and develop, because it's not like we're trying to do anything serious here. Let him figure it out in real time.
And I think if the Cubs were actually
pinky promise, it's going to be at least as good as the fucking carousel we've been running out there.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. And if the Cubs were truly trying to be competitive, Christopher Morel never goes to Iowa this year because he was the best hitter coming out of spring training. There was a need at third base, the position that he plays. Whether or not how many times have we seen third basemen that aren't like the best third baseman in the whole world, but because they rip at the plate, they get to play there all the time. The guy's name is Patrick Wisdom. We don't have to go far to figure out who this is. Wisdom's getting better over at third, but he's been able to play there for like 3 straight years. They don't move him around very much. If you do that for Morel, who is a better athlete, then he will get there and be not only the guy that you need now, but he'll end up being the guy you want in the future. Like, he could be a future player, but if you just keep moving him all over the place, it makes it harder on him.
I just hate the fact that they continue to keep cock-blocking these young guys in order to put literal nobodies in place who are not good at their jobs, because I don't know what, are we blocking Miggy Amaya to put on the Tucker Barnhart showcase in case, I don't know, some catcher's leg falls off and somebody is desperate enough to want him?
And the not being competitive right now, Kevin McAllister says, which I think is a fake name. Isn't that like the guy from Home Alone?
That is
that looks like is the Home Alone kid too.
But Kevin McAllister is Macaulay Culkin's character's name in that movie, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
So either this is the kid from Home Alone, or but he says they're 8 games back. Put Morel at third. Call up Mervis, play Amaya every day, incompetence abounds. And I think that's exactly what we're saying. It's like, let's see what we've got. If, let's let this play out from the youth standpoint. And but what are you going to do? You got Mancini for 2 more years. Chip says management is a shit show. I agree. And it's like, and David Ross is part of it. David Ross, GPT, the team that they were given by Carter and Jed is flawed. And what the front office GPT spit out didn't work. But hey, they did manage to win 1 game in this series, and they won it big. Bellinger, not only did he have 2, well, we didn't even mention he had 2 home runs in the loss in the first game. But then he had
almost the exact same spot, and a kid whose birthday he was there for his birthday caught the first one, which was
and the second one was the guy behind Crawley. It hit Crawley's brother's hand, and he didn't catch it. They were sad about it and lamenting the fact. But I did get to see that second ball, but it was a loss. Belly he hit another home run on Saturday. This time it was a grand slam, really kind of put the game away at that point. Stroh was on the mound, was really good. Wisdom hit a home run to tie Morel for the team lead. So maybe he's finding his stroke just because he knows it's almost over.
What did Ross GPT do today? because Wisdom gets a walk and a home run. It's like, oh, so what do we do with a guy who probably needs a couple more at bats? Maybe starting to feel it, needs to keep that going. Let's sit him for the day. Ridiculous.
He did play a little bit. He came in as a pinch hitter and got an RBI. I don't know what he did to get it.
Why wasn't he playing the whole fucking game? Like, because you needed Mystery Boner over there at third? Why? That guy is not a guy. So,
well, but in this game today or on Saturday, Stroh did great, upping his trade value. And then after the game was talking to everybody about how he would like to stay with the team. And I know it's all just lip service and stuff, but he also would like Bellinger to stay on the team. Who wouldn't want a guy batting like 500 since the last month on your team that plays a great outfield? And more importantly, in my opinion, plays a great first base. Bellinger was at first base today.
Yep.
If you watch these games, pay attention to what Mancini is doing. When Mervis gets up there, pay attention to what Mervis is doing. Jared Young, if he ever gets back over there, like, you can see the way they play defense differently. And Bellinger is the absolute best option you have there. Now, I don't know exactly what to do because they also have a long history of not really having a good center fielder, which Bellinger is. But it's like he's so good at first. Like, but if you do want to bring up Mervis, then have him platoon with Bellinger, right? And have Mervis learn the position the proper way, because Mervis doesn't really look all that good over there. And then when Mervis is playing first, then Bellinger can play center.
Yeah, absolutely. So and I think that works perfectly fine until PCA is ready to come up.
Yeah,
right.
And
then when
I think Bellinger is an obvious keep if the front office wants to appear to be a competitive team.
Exactly. Now there's the key.
There's the big if. Now, and of course, Stroman, if he were to be extended for a significant raise to keep him from going to free agency, I think would definitely want somebody like Bellinger on the team, because why extend to play on a team that's going nowhere fast?
Well, you get the defense at first and center, and Stroman's a pitch to contact guy, and then you're going to want Stroman's probably better on the Cubs than anywhere else because you got that great defense up the middle as well.
And Bellinger has found his bat. That was the big question coming into the season, right?
He hit
the last couple of years, he had disappeared, and now he's found the bat. That was the big question.
Yeah,
you see that he's got the bat. You don't need to trade him.
Well, and Suzuki has been a bit of a disappointment. Like, maybe eventually Bellinger can play a little right field, and then
why not?
And you give Suzuki the lefties or something. I mean, I don't know. There are answers, and all the PCA situation, when he's ready to get his shot, that's great. But it's just a shot. We don't know if it's gonna really work out. But
yeah, I don't ever think that having too many good players is ever going to be a bad thing. Like, if you have a good player, keep him. Put him somewhere. We'll figure it out. There's always going to be room for another guy who's better than 7 other guys in the lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. And see what else happened in this series. Well, the Cubs lost today. This time it was Masataka Yoshida who hit a grand slam.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, and the really bad inning that Steele had predicated on the yet another invisible error.
Yeah.
Errors that don't happen anymore somehow. Okay, did you see this play? Were you watching it? Were you in the stands? Maybe couldn't see it?
No, I didn't go.
Oh,
no.
Okay. This is an absolute makeable play by Horner. And I'm not saying Horner's terrible, but he fucked this play up.
He committed an error. And
his glove.
Yeah.
Committed an error.
It was not called an error. And now Justin Steele has 6 runs on his ERA because he ended up giving a grand slam. So now he's got an ERA near 3. So you could pretty much say goodbye to any idea you had of a Cy Young after I don't think too many Cy Young winners ever have a game where they give up 6 runs. I think they'll look at this. Maybe they'll consider that play. I doubt it, but also the fact that nobody knows him. But
you would have to really dig into that game.
They're not
to find that one play that happened. But if it's an error, then the numbers go down. Yeah. His ERA stays better, and these guys aren't really looking. They're just like, well, the ERA
anyway.
Must still
it's going to be a popularity contest.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why Trevor Bauer won. Because those assholes like him.
But that was just a terrible, terrible play, and I don't understand what's going on in Major League Baseball because it's league wide.
Yeah,
that errors are just not being recorded anymore,
and they don't show them on those highlights either. Like even if it was a big play that mattered in the game and like 2 runs scored, they don't show the error because they don't want to embarrass the guy. I think it's something that the players maybe even asked for, but it's bullshit because it's such a huge part of the game. Errors matter. They matter in baseball, and there's Cubs have like 50 of them right now. That's almost one a game. Like they matter. So yeah, in this game, Tauchman had a really good game. Was on base 5 times, but the problem was that there were 6 strikeouts right behind him with Horner, Morel, and Happ. A total of 12 strikeouts for the team. And also there was another weird, dumb move where like the Cubs tried to. I mean, they were so far behind, but they tried to come back, and for whatever reason, there was maybe he was tired from hitting home runs all weekend, but Bellinger was taken out of the game for Jared Young defensively. And then at the end of the game, which
doesn't make any sense because Bellinger's better defensively.
Yeah.
Maybe and I like Young defensively.
Listen, maybe there were other reasons. Tired, hurt, I don't know why, but in the 8th inning, Bellinger would have been on with 2 outs and, climbing back into the game. Maybe you get somewhere. The Cubs rallied at the end of this game, but it was not enough. They did try to fight back, but it ended up 11-5. But like if Bellinger comes up, hits a home run, it's 11-7. And then, maybe you score those runs in the next inning and you make it a more interesting game. Either way, it ended up being garbage time and Horner hit a triple and they were 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. And even though the Red Sox are in last place, they have a better record than we do. And let's just freaking face it. They're a better baseball team than the Chicago Cubs by a fair amount. And that became somewhat apparent when they teed off on our aces. They teed off on our best 3 guys, except for Stroman. They did not get to Stroh.
No, they didn't get to Stroh. They got to Hendricks, but again,
they hit 4 home runs.
It feels like, why the hell are they running Barnhart out there when he was doing so well with Amaya and even Gomes at times? He's pitching great with those guys, and the 2 starts he has with Barnhart, he's not on the same page, I don't think, and just getting shelled. And then you get Steele, who, I mean, really just got he
didn't pitch well. I'm not going to make any excuses for Steele. That guy's getting exposed. He's got 2 freaking pitches. He's not, he's
But the biggest exposure for him was that Horner error. If Horner makes that play, there's just a different thing going on right there. You know what I mean? And I'm not making excuses for him either because you got to be able to pitch past that. And he was honestly putting way too many people on base.
Yeah.
Lots of guys reaching in this game. He was getting out of a lot of them earlier, but then that's why that error ends up costing him so much because he's on a razor thin, good or bad with all those guys on base. And when that error goes against him, then, that just gives him an extra out at least. And it hurt him bad.
Yeah. Well, what hurts me bad when people don't subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/sunranto. It hurts me personally.
Well, so we're not a serious Cubs podcast.
Yeah, we are. We are now.
We may not be serious, but damn it, we're right. All the time.
Exactly.
Fucking thank you.
I would rather be right than be serious.
We're the only goddamn place out there talking about this front office and how shitty they are. Like, everyone has the same notes, everything that we've seen over these last few years. We're the only ones that finally figured it out. Like, you know what? Why are we giving these guys the benefit of the doubt? They've shown us like 4 or 5 straight years that they can't do it. So we're the only ones that are like, here's the issue. And when you start to look at it that way, we start seeing the Barnharts come in, the Bellinger getting replaced for defensive replacement at the end of the game. These, Morel never getting a place to play. We see that, and we see the front office now, and nobody does that. But we didn't fucking throw up some goddamn, math number to prove this point.
Well, you look like you did, you nerd. And everybody else in the chat, by the way, is saying that you look like Jordan Wicks tonight. You really do look like Jordan Wicks.
I've been seeing that. Everybody, I've been seeing a number of times.
You look exactly
Jordan
like
Wicks
him, except for way poorer. He was like a first round pick. So I'm going to play a commercial for patreon.com/sunranto. It's how we keep this show going. Please support us. Patreon.com/sunranto. Those people will be hanging out with us afterwards in the chat. We all hang out on Discord. We do a post show, fun little chat over there. So come hang out with us over there. But first, you got to become a patron. It's only $1 a month. So do it right now. We'll be right back. All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys 1 beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a super ranter today. We are back on the Sun Ranto Show. Please become a super ranter at Sunranto or patreon.com/sunranto and get the daily Cubs pod. Where every day we tell you what happened last night and what's going to happen today. Terry E. writes in, he says, every other podcast is worried they will piss someone off and it will cost them interviews in the future. This one does not. Well, that's right.
And that's because we are funded by the listeners.
Yeah.
The listeners make this happen. And trust me, when I say funded, I'm using that word very loosely.
Very loosely.
But that's the only money we're we would love to sell ads, but we aren't, we just don't get it. And what I also think is funny about the whole, they're worried about losing interviews. How many times, Danny, have I just bailed completely on interview shows?
Yeah, you're like,
you're talking to somebody from the team. I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna.
No, thank you.
Okay, well, we've got a very special, and this is another thing that, I think we lost him. I was just going to bring him in. My tie guy was here for 5 seconds, and I was about to bring him in, and he disappeared on me. Hopefully, it's just a little bit of a technical difficulty, and he'll be back in a second, because that's another thing that happens on this show, is we are a show of the people, and we bring the people onto the show. But let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the team that kind of happened since the All-Star break happened. And first of all, they released the 2024 schedule, and I kind of wanted to go through it just a little bit and say that I'm pretty excited. That what are you holding up there, IFG?
Oh, we are Cotton and I are showing off.
Me and
on
IFG are having like a silent conversation about our beers.
Yeah, I'm like in the middle of saying stuff. So, I mean, you guys are just cutting up. No, what are you drinking? Because we never did that earlier. I'm drinking my main mate that I always drink.
Nice. I am drinking from Hellbent Brewing here in Seattle. This is the Pride and No Prejudice Golden Ale. It's got this lovely trans flag on it. It's got our lovely characters from Pride and Prejudice, and they're both trans, and it's cool. And the proceeds from this support Seattle's LGBTQ Center, which does a lot of like HIV testing and supporting for the LGBTQ plus community here in the Seattle area.
Well, that's a much more like
her beer's way woker than your beer.
It is. It's so
sure.
Nice with all that
Look
stuff.
how cute it is. Look, they're adorable.
I literally chose mine because it says Road to Ruin. It's a double IPA from Two Roads, but literally this is the podcast right now. This is what we're doing. The Road to Ruin is the second half of the season. So that's why I chose this.
And the second half of the show, possibly.
Right. It's 8%, and I've got a whole nother different one ready to go too. So let's talk about the 2024 schedule, because they did release it and we didn't really talk about it, but I do have great news for IFG is that they're coming to your town.
Hell yeah!
When
are we get?
Well, we're coming in April 12th, 13th, and 14th, which I'm guessing is probably a pretty darn rainy time in Seattle. Most times are rainy times, aren't they?
Yeah, we get a break here in the summer. Like right now, it's not terribly rainy, but yes.
You get that 6 weeks in the summer. That's the most perfect days you've ever seen.
Oh gosh,
it literally lasts 6 weeks.
It's a fairy wonderland here in the Seattle area. People, they come and they visit in the summer and they're like, it's the most beautiful place I've ever seen in my entire life. And then they move here and they're like, oh my God, it's dark for 10 months. What happened?
Right. They end up swinging from their rafters.
Yeah. If you come to Seattle and you stay for a long time, remember to take your vitamin D supplements.
Well, I'm excited about the Mariners being there in April because I have actually been trying to talk Emily into going out to Seattle for a while.
Yay!
This could be a good Sun Ranto meetup. What do you think, Danny?
Well, I'll try to get there. I have no idea what April 12th, 13th, and 14th looks like at this point, but I would love to do it. The other place that I often go, their Cubs will be right before, is in San Diego, which that makes some sense that you're playing some games in a really nice weather environment like San Diego early in the season. You've got the Mariners right after that, which
I would like to remind everybody that beautiful, glorious, delightful T-Mobile Park has a retractable roof.
Yeah. So it makes it worthwhile to come there because you would hate to go up there and get rained out. I think we might have Mai Tai Guy. I'm not sure if we have picture, but we're going to try to bring him on. Let's see if this works. Mai Tai Guy, are you there? Kind of.
Kind of. I see his face, sort of.
Either way, we just wanted to celebrate you. I don't know if you can hear us or if you're able to speak with us. It seems like you might be a little bit internet deprived at this moment, but just wanted to congratulate you on teaching the rules of the bleachers to those bratty little kids who really didn't deserve the baseball because their arms are just way too short. Okay, we got Mai Tai Guy writing in. He says this is all backwards, but it says it's saying I have no internet connection. Working to fix this currently. So we'll try this again in a moment. We'll see if he's able to come in and out again. We'll try it again. But the Cubs do open in Texas, which is a little strange too, because that is the second time in like I think 2019, 2018 they were there. They opened in Texas.
Yeah,
doing it again. Except for it's a completely different ballpark now.
They opened in Texas that last time, it was not good. That was when the Cubs started the season, and I think they went like something like 1-12 early on in that season. It was not good.
All right, let's try Mai Tai Guy one more time. Mai Tai Guy, are you there?
I don't think he's there.
I don't think he's there.
Good at catching home runs, bad at connecting to the internet. You know what? He taught those kids how to get a home run ball, but I'll bet those kids could teach him how to use his phone better.
That's true. All I gotta say, since he might not come onto the show, you can say what you want about my Thai guy. That was Kyle Schwarber's first career walk-off. I would have punched a baby and dove into the basket to get that ball.
Yeah. No,
kids.
there was absolutely nothing. Like, it's so funny because that was never a thing when we were kids, right? Like,
right.
And the reason is because there was no like fucking social media for every asshole to jump in there. Oh, you should have given it to the kids who they don't know what the situation is in any way. They're just seeing it. And so they chime in.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, assume that every child that's at a baseball game is like, thinks the baseball game is the most amazing thing in the world, and they're going to cry over this ball and sleep with it under their pillow for the next 10 years. But like, not every kid is like that.
Yeah. Oh, Jared, known as Guy Serious, we were talking about how he caught that ball for his baby, like with the baby in his arms, and like, little kids wanted it. It's like, I have a baby in my hands, and I got a ball. This is obviously...
Yeah, this is my ball. I'm sorry. I've been going to baseball games for 30 years. I have never caught a ball. If I catch a ball at a baseball game, it's freaking mine. I have been waiting a long time for that ball.
I will say that this time that my Thai guy tried to steal a ball from a child was a little egregious because it was outside of the stadium. That's little Nagi there. And, her father had just had a shot of Malort and Tatsuya. And so he was a little drunk, and my Thai guy taking advantage, just trying to steal a ball from a baby. So,
stealing candy from a baby or a baseball from a baby.
It's so easy. So let's get back into the schedule. Either way, we're trying to have my Thai guy. It didn't work.
You know what I noticed, Danny? They didn't take my schedule suggestion where we have every Monday off. They decided, nope, let's not do that.
Michael, they're never going to listen to you.
They're never going to listen. Well, Danny, but
every other professional baseball league on earth has one designated day off. We do that.
But I just want to point out some of the idiocy of this schedule real quick, because we do play. The Dodgers are coming in April. The Rockies are. I know that Denver can be cold, but for the Dodgers, for us to play the Rangers to open up in Texas makes some sense. Then we should probably go to Colorado, and then we should go to LA and play. We should maybe spend the first 2 weeks on the West Coast. Every team should, or in a with a dome.
West Coast or dome. You feel like there's enough teams. If you take all those things into account, you should be able to make it happen.
But which they're doing. So April 8th, San Diego. April 12th, dome in Seattle. April 15th, you're in Arizona, where you just were also training,
a dome
and a dome. And then you got the poor Marlins coming in April. I mean,
the Marlins play in a dome as well, and yet they're going to have to come up to Chicago in April.
But but you don't want to play all road games.
Didn't play in a dome in Miami. People would just die in August.
Right. And and it says TBD for the times. Obviously, they haven't done that part of it yet. But that Thursday game is going to be a night game, and it's going to be April, and it's going to be freaking cold. The Friday game's probably going to be at 1:20, but then they're probably going to go another night game for the Saturday, and it's just
they won't.
It's going to suck.
They won't. They'll do day games in April for sure. Yeah. So I'm just combing through the schedule, get through this quick, but one thing I'm looking at here is the Mother's Day game in Pittsburgh, and then they go to Atlanta. That's one place I've never been either. So I'm going to have to make the choice of, I think I'd rather go to Seattle, but
why are we playing 7 games against the Pirates in a week and a half?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing that's rough, that you just catch a team like that.
And the Braves too, back-to-back series. This is ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Just 2 straight weeks of Braves and Pirates, and that's it.
Yeah,
So,
that's insane.
Yeah, it's just dumb. And you're done with the Padres, which makes fine. But you're just by May 8th, you're not seeing the Padres, and it's just you're playing everybody. Just how it's going to be. I'm going to go.
No nice trip to San Diego in June or whatever.
Yeah, it's well, at least it'll be April. So the Rays come in, or no, we go to the Rays. We go to Tampa Bay. That's another place I haven't been that I would like to go at some point. And I don't know, nothing.
I can let you know where the good Hooters is.
Oh wait, there's a good one.
Well,
yeah, one of the original Hooters is in Clearwater.
I'd rather go to the bad Hooters because that sounds a little seedier and more my style.
Oh yeah, actually, that's a good question. What constitutes a good Hooters versus a bad Hooters? Because
the original Hooters, it's plenty seedy. It's just not the one that's in like the mosquito infested part of the Piplicuscoty River.
So you're looking at this June here, and San Francisco Giants, same thing. You face them twice in a week, you're done with them, and that's it. You go to Cleveland in August. So that'll be fun. But I wanted to point out these off days, this weird off day situation. They are off Thursday, August 8th. Then they are off Sunday, August 11th.
Yeah, because why is it that they only play the White Sox two times every time they play them? Because they have another series earlier in the season. It's a 2-game set versus the White Sox. Yeah. And then now another 2-game set. Why are they doing that?
Well, I don't know, because they do home and away for your rival interleague team.
No, I understand the home and away, but why only 2 games?
Because then it would be 6 games.
Do it like normal.
No, well, because then it'd be 6 games.
Because they only get 4 interleague games per team.
Yeah. So what's weird
about it is the travel day, because coming up from the south side is just taking you 24 straight hours.
Yeah, so they're off this is my overall point. This is what's stupid. They're off the 8th of August, and then they play 2 games with the White Sox, and then they're off Sunday the 11th, which makes no sense at all. And then they play 3 against Cleveland, and then they're off again. Then they play 3 against the Blue Jays at home, and then they're off again. So they have 4 days off in really, let's see, it's like a 10-day
and
period.
Another one on the 29th. So they have 5 off days in this 1 month.
5 off days in the month, but starting on the 8th and ending on the 29th. So 5 off days in 21 days.
21 days.
Just weird.
And I'm sure that means that there's no off days in June, or there's no off days in September. Like there's a certain thing. Oh, yeah. Look, I think we got my tie guy.
I think we do. We're going to try one more time. My tie guy.
Hi, bestie.
Oh, you got to unmute yourself though. Unmute yourself.
Hold on, I got it.
I can't do it for him.
Oh no, he chose to mute himself, so he needs to unmute
my tie, you've got to unmute it.
There
you go.
What's up, guys? I have G, Cotton, Danny. What's up, guys?
How you doing, Kitty?
We're celebrating the anniversary of Kyle Schwarber's first walk-off, and maybe only walk-off as a Cub. Can you take us back to that moment when you saw those kids, reaching over, trying to get that baseball that you knew was rightfully yours, and the kind of fortitude and strength it took to get that ball out of their slimy little clutches?
Well, there's an old saying, if you want something, sometimes you got to go out and get it yourself. That's it. Plain and simple. Walk-off home run, that's on the list. Grand slams, a first home run for somebody. These are all items you got to check off the list if you're a ball hog like myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what did you do with the ball? Do you still have it?
I still got the ball, and I was lucky enough to get the scorecard, the official scorecard from that game. I wanted to have that as a keepsake as well.
And here's a picture of you. That is the ball you're holding. It.
So that was super. That was super nice. Yeah, that. There it is. Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Well, If you ever have a mind to put me in your will for any reason, you know what I want.
Yeah, there it is.
So
Absolutely.
No, but I remember there was a ton of backlash, partially because of even the announcers kind of giving you shit about it. There was a bunch of backlash at that moment, and I know that bugged you and bothered you a lot. But ultimately, now that we've got some space, right? Was it a net positive? Because we all enjoy it and enjoy recognizing you on this day, or is it still like that is still like a bit of a sore spot for you?
Well, no, I don't think it's a sore spot for me. I think at the time it more so was. People didn't really have the backstory on me. Again, you see a viral video, 15 seconds of a clip, man steals ball from children. Of course you're going to be berated. No one wants to see that. Everyone's going to get upset when they see something like that. But I think now with having more exposure to me, seeing more of the everyday, day-to-day operations that I do when I'm out in the bleachers, trying to be friendly, trying to keep the peace, I think that's really brought things in a spotlight for other individuals, and they're able to formulate a better opinion than just 15 seconds of video.
Yeah, and time marches on, and people get a better idea because you are out there. I want to point something out in this picture, is that if you see that the kid in this picture, like two to the left, like there's the one kid reaching for it, or there's two kids reaching for it, and then there's you, and then there's the kid two to the left. He is actually holding a baseball up in the air excitedly.
Right.
Because who gave him that damn ball? You did.
This guy right here.
Yeah,
this guy right here.
You had been given those, and that's the thing that people don't understand. And if you don't know, now you know, because you had been given those kids every day. You give kids baseballs and make sure that
I can attest to it myself. My tie guy is a fabulous ambassador for Wrigley Field. I've been a Cubs fan since I was 12, but my first trip to Chicago was last summer. And I barely got off the plane when my Thai guy accosted me at Mise Lounge with my first Italian beef sandwich and a bag full of Cubs swag. This guy is here to make the experience better for everybody.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think if you don't know if you're a listener, first time you're listening to this show or you're watching or whatever, and you don't really know too much about that answer that my Thai guy just gave, like, how magnanimous you are about what was a really like a hatchet job on you. And yet, but that is who you are. And I think that, the answer itself shows that, but I think a lot of people have learned over the last couple of years that that's who you are. And they all have a much better view and understanding because you faced this whole thing. Like,
you went on the Score. You went on different social
stand-up stuff
on the radio, and you gave some bunch of great interviews, explained yourself, and I thought it went pretty well. And you didn't even need an image fixer for you. But I do have one question.
Steve Bartman's still in hiding. My Thai guy out there, hero.
And he got a ring too. And he got a ring too for hiding.
So, and he got a ring. So I do have a question. I know you're at work. We got to let you go, and we got to move on with the show because we got Johnny Onomatopoeia coming on to preview the Nationals with us. But are you getting any residuals from this Spirit Halloween costume that they made of you last year, which comes, of course, with a Cubs hat, a My Thai guy jersey, cargo shorts, over 21 Wrigley base bracelets, and a ball stolen from a child? Are you getting any sort of residual payments for this?
Payments? No. Well, I guess it depends on how you define payments. I've been buying plenty of Mai Tai from random individuals just for being me. So that makes me happy, keeps my thirst quenched, and allows me to do what I do most, and that's enjoy watching baseball at Wrigley Field, cheering on the Cubs, good or bad. I still plan on being there because that's just part of me and what I do, and I just love the vibe out there. I wish everyone was more cognizant of themselves. Again, I always say, be mindful of your seat partners, but in the same sense, when a baseball is coming your way, every man for themselves. I'm sorry to say it, but that's just the truth.
Amen to that. Thank you for my my rally towel, and I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, and thanks for coming on. We're gonna go to commercial and let you go, and we'll be back in just a second with Johnny Onomatopoeia to talk all about the Nationals. Have a great day at work, and we'll see you this week at Wrigley Field.
Sounds great. Thanks very much, everybody. You guys be great. Be good to yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Tell Johnny I said hi.
We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Stuff. Hey, Cubs fans, at Amazon.com, do you buy lots of stuff? Why not support the Son Ranto Show by shopping through sonranto.com/stuff? All you gotta do is fill your cart at Amazon with lots of stuff. Then before you check out with all of that wonderful stuff, head on over to sonranto.com/stuff and click any of our Amazon links before you buy your stuff. Check out like you normally would with all that beautiful stuff. And the Son Ranto Show will get a small kickback because of the stuff you bought. And you'll be helping the Son Ranto Show buy all the stuff we need to stay on the air talking about the Cubs and other stuff. Plus, you could win a monthly prize if some of your stuff is chosen for Amazon stuff of the month. And if you win, we'll send you more stuff. sonranto.com/stuff. That address again is sonranto.com/stuff.
Do you ever find yourself longing for long walks and talks about Ketchermetrics? How about a coffee or run differential? Maybe a candlelit dinner dissecting what exactly is the curious case of Miles Mastrobuoni? If you have, I have just the place for you, the Cubs PS Plus podcast. Come join us. Cubs PS Plus, a Northside numbers game, can be found wherever it is you get your podcasts, and on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Cubs PS Plus, a spin on the baseball metric OPS Plus. Are you ready? I'm ready. Here we go.
Welcome back. I wanted to thank everybody that shopped on Prime Day. A lot of you told me that you went through our links on sonranto.com/stuff, but your items. Hopefully you got some good deals. And you guys shop on Prime Day?
I did, but they didn't deliver my stuff and they gave me a refund instead.
I shopped on Prime Day, but it wasn't on sale. So it's like, oh well. I needed DVD booklets.
Yeah, I did not.
I was trying to get some noise canceling headphones, like just not the music kind, but just the kind that kind of shut the world up for a little while. And they had a really great deal on them. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get 70% off of headphones. And they were like, no, we're not shipping those to you. You don't get a deal on that.
It's like they put the deal out there and then they're like, nah, we're just kidding. We just want to see, like, it was like a little balloon. We just want to see where people were at, what they would spend on it. I
do want to thank everybody that did that. All you got to do is go to sonranto.com/stuff and shop through our Amazon links, and we get a little kickback. So I wanted to bring on one of my best friends, if not my best friend of all time in my entire life. And he's a Nationals fan, and we're facing him starting tomorrow. He's been on the show many a day, many a night, and here he is, Johnny Onomatopoeia.
It's so great to be on. Hi.
Hi, Johnny.
I mean, to be even to be top 3 of your best friends would mean a lot to me.
You got to be number 1, but the problem is you don't live by me anymore.
It's true, and in the hierarchy, briefly, of best friends, Eric Wielikowski, a known villain on this podcast, is in the mix, who has become friendly with you, and I know that y'all have spent some great time this summer together, and so encroaching on the territory.
Well, I do have to say, if you're not Danny's number 1 best friend or whatever, very good argument that you're number 1 most loved guest on this show.
Yeah.
The ranters absolutely do love when you come on.
You know, thank you for bringing that up. Terry E has been sending me $6 a month, and I don't know why.
Just randomly, like a
Just
5
randomly.
and a 1.
Yeah.
In the mail.
It's cash. I don't even have Venmo.
Gosh, he's not even a Patreon member, and he's just sending you random money.
Well, it just supports the theory. All right, let's talk about the Nats.
Well, I mean, first question: have you been following Nationals baseball this year at all? Is there anything to look forward to? You beat us 3-4.
So the Nationals this last month hit 500 as an away team. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
They've won half of their road games, and so they're an interesting team that seems to be in the mix, except when they're at home. So,
what do you
That
attribute?
sounds great for their fans who go to the games.
Exactly.
What do you attribute that to?
Dumb luck.
Dumb luck. There you go. Well, you know what? I have to say that's a few games better than the Cubs are on the road. It's also a few games better than the Cubs are at home.
And I'm looking at this right now, which is really surprising because they are 37-55 overall.
That's right.
And so that's quite a bit under 500, almost 20 games. And for them to just be one under on the road, and then they're 17 under at home. Like, that is a 319 winning percentage versus a 489. I mean, drain the swamp. What is going on?
Yeah, exactly. Is this a Biden issue? I have no idea.
Yeah.
They found Coke in the dugout. But
Or are you going to go out on a limb on this podcast and say that Trump was the best thing that ever happened to the Nationals because he was president, right, when they won the World Series?
everyone says we're out on limbs. Everyone loves limbs. So I told Eric that the fact is the Nationals won 7 out of the last 9 games on the road. They were doing great until this weekend when Eric started betting on them. They lost. It was sort of this underground thing of the travel team. I don't know. You all tell me. You all know everything.
Do you think it's because they have so many travel baseball boys and they're just used to playing tournaments? Like,
yes, Danny, that is absolutely right. The average age of the Nationals is probably 21 and a half, and they're on the bus. They're used to carrying their own luggage. These are travel boys, just like you said. This is a minor league team that has, for no good reason, risen up to the national ranks. And I think that's true.
well, and you just lost to the freaking Cardinals, so that doesn't help us at all because I'll put up some of these are your offensive stats.
Hey, I see a name I know.
Which Jamer
I got
Candelario?
Ildemaro Vargas.
There you go.
Cubs legend.
Yeah, Ildemaro Vargas, Cubs legend. Also, Jamer Candelario, ex-Cub.
Oh my God. I don't know how many times I have heard people say we need to trade something to the Nationals to get Jamer Candelario to play third base, and it makes my head want to explode.
Yeah, because we have like 5 third basemen and one really good one that we wish would play, but
that nobody will let play.
Yeah, but apparently we have to take Jamer Candelario, who actually has a lower OPS and fewer home runs than the guy who could be playing third base every day.
Right.
I just want to point out that infield fly girl looked at the lineup and shouted out, "I know one of those names. I am a Washington Nationals fan who owns a hat, and I know none of those names."
Well, technically, you own a Walgreens hat. It's not really a Nationals hat. It's
the only thing that I seriously go through this. The only names that I recognize are ex-Cubs. Like,
yes.
So we've got
and
Jamer,
I think Victor Robles is on my lead-on team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and Corey Dickerson was not a Cub, but didn't he play for the?
I don't know, but that's
Brewers?
a great name.
I think Corey Dickerson played for the LA Rams in the 80s.
Yes, maybe that's what I'm thinking
no,
about.
that's
He
Eric
was a running
Dickerson.
back in the day.
Dickerson, I barely know him.
Yeah, he did 2 episodes on Saved by the Bell. Danny, what is this list? Because I don't think that even Robles is playing currently.
Yeah, he might not be playing. This is just people that took at bats during your season this year so far.
This is literally everyone. It's not who's playing right now.
Yeah, Victor. Yeah, Victor, who is in the 4th position on this list. Oh, I see this isn't a lineup. Yeah,
I've got it. I mean, here's who else you got is Lane Thomas. I guess was a dude,
a furniture salesman. Sorry, go ahead.
Lane. That's not a name. That's a major appliance.
It does sound like an appliance store. Lane Thomas Appliances, or I think furniture. Lane Thomas sectionals.
Leather.
They've got a 30% off discount on mattresses this week.
Yeah. by the way, if people didn't get that was a Pretty in Pink reference. Thank you.
No one got it.
Lane,
no one got it.
But Lane Thomas is your best hitter. He leads the team with 14 home runs. He plays right field. He's a young guy, and I mean, is he a touted prospect that people are supposed to be excited about?
Danny, the last time I was on your podcast, I talked about the pipeline because it's just pipeline this, pipeline that. Number 17 out of 344 in the pipeline.
And so that's what Lane Thomas is now out of the pipeline and then into the sewer. Into the swamp.
In Southeast Washington, they opened up the fire hydrants this weekend because it was so hot, and Lane Thomas just came shooting out.
Just came flying out.
He came out, splashed against a bunch of children, and walked his ass over to the field.
And then struck out.
Well, he seems
to be doing... we're feeling really good about this roster.
Yeah, he does strike out a lot. I'll say that much. It's definitely more than 25% of the time. But for a young guy who's batting .299 with 14 home runs, it's pretty good for a dude like that. You also got Dom Smith from the Mets. He's over there now, and yeah, it's a pretty rough looking lineup I'm seeing here.
Well, no, Johnny, I think the last time you were on the show, and maybe it was a couple of times, but you were talking about how they were trying to sell this team. Have they sold? I don't clock this team. So are they still trying to sell, or have they already sold? Like, what's going on with that?
You have a great memory. This is a very interesting thing going on in DC. And I'll just reset the clock that the Baltimore team did not want to have a DC team. It was Peter Angelos owned. And so the DC team, DC got a team, and the deal was that they had a terrible media rights contract with Baltimore, where Baltimore got way more of the money. They put together one of these, Yes networks or whatever they call it. I know you all have dealt with that in Chicago. So
W Desson or something, Besson.
Yes. And so the same thing just happened in DC, and they have the Monument Network where the patriarch of DC died. And there is one other person in DC who owns the Washington Capitals, who owns the Washington WNBA team, and owns the and the NBA team. And
the Bullets,
the Washington Bullets. And
there are people listening that have no idea what you're talking about, Danny. The Washington basketball team used to be called the Bullets until everybody realized, bullets are bad for people in Washington. And
it was the murder capital of the world.
It really was.
The murder capital of the world. So they decided, let's do Wizards, and then it'll be the wish capital of the world. Which it is.
I will talk faster. There's one person that owns all the teams in DC, and he owns the DC Sports Network, and he has proposed to buy the Nationals with Saudi Arabia funding.
Oh,
and so how do we all feel about golf?
Oh,
That's where we're at in DC. Thank you for
Oh my
asking. Is
God.
that if someone wants to sign off on Saudi Arabia having 20% of the Nationals, it's a done deal.
That's.
I
mean,
brutal.
It wouldn't be the only thing in DC that's owned by foreign money.
or the Saudis themselves, literally.
Yeah.
Oh,
Saudi Arabia pretty much already owns most of that town. So why not the Nationals? No. I mean,
you know what, Johnny, you need to start talking to all those people in DC. They have money. You can come up with 20%, right? Like, just the fans need to own 20% of the team.
You know, I love that model. If Eric was on here, he would point out that the Wisconsin football team is owned by Wisconsin.
The Green Bay Packers are owned by the city or whatever.
So can we get to that model? Like, people in DC have money.
God, I wish we want to buy the Cubs. Danny, did you figure that out one time? We only need 1 million people to come up with $4,000 each or something.
Shares.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Danny already has rickets.
$4,000 is less than season tickets.
Yeah, well, and especially
they can't sell those right now.
Right. Well, and what's frustrating is that they buy all these teams with collateral and debt. It's not even real money anyway.
Right.
So it's like, well, why can't we just band together? I mean, because when I've proposed it, everybody loves the idea. It's like, hey, you want to buy shares, and you could buy, if you have $100,000, you could buy $100,000 worth of Cubs shares and just, get your dividends and, have it pay 5%. And like those $30 cup snakes, or those $40,000 cup snakes and the $30 beer bats, you're getting a cut of it. And so you don't mind going in there and drinking and having a good time because you own shares.
It's true. I send Terry E a Christmas card every year.
Exactly.
Okay, hold on. You brought up the cup snakes, and I forgot to mention this earlier. We're going to hit rewind, but I'm sure Johnny will enjoy this. The Red Sox the other day hit a home run that destroyed a cup snake. Did you see this? There's a cup snake, and it comes down, and it's like right next to it, but everybody, kind of moves and everything, busts the cup snake. It was amazing. Sorry, I just had to. I forgot to bring that up earlier, but good God, how wonderful is it that a home run busted up a cup?
You know what I forgot to bring up earlier? Hashtag Chance in the chat. If you're just tuning in, hashtag Chance, you could win a Frank Chance postcard. So the Nationals, not a great team. Like we already went through that. We never heard of your players, but you still beat the Cubs. You beat us 3 of 4 in DC, and the Cubs in this series went 4 for 25 with runners in scoring position. And so
that's pretty common for the Cubs, unfortunately.
Yeah, and in the series, we were only outscored by a run. So it's like, but you end up beating us. I remember it being a particularly frustrating. Cubs did terrible in May, and against the Nationals, that was pretty much the start of us doing terrible. But let me tell you a little bit about your team. You're 19th in on base plus slugging OPS. You've hit the second fewest homers. You don't strike out a lot, though. You have the least amount of strikeouts, and also the second fewest amount of walks. And you have average stolen bases, and the Cubs have scored 38 more runs. Hey, it's Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. Bye, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
Come on in. Jump in. We don't need to talk to Johnny the whole time.
She's been listening. She's taken off now.
Yeah, we've had a bit of an echo. We're just trying to fix it while trying to keep the show going, live TV. But I think you're muted. So if Jennifer's trying to talk.
Yeah, you got to unmute, Johnny.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, how's it going, Jennifer? You're live on the air. So
that's great. My favorite thing is to your left, that picture of you with the cry face.
This one
is the most fantastic thing I've ever seen.
Well,
I would like that framed in my home.
It's yours.
If you can sell that,
$2,000. It's yours.
Oh, great! That's in my budget.
Danny, when I'm looking at this is the first time I've ever really noticed, but that's like the crying face part of the happy face and the crying face of like
the
theater.
drama masks.
Yeah.
But yeah, where's your happy face? I've never
Right here.
seen it.
Comedy and
That's a
tragedy,
serial
right
killer
there.
smile right
Your
there.
choice, which is which.
So overall, and it's a pretty bad offense is what we are playing with. The bullpen, you have the third worst ERA. You're tied with Oakland for giving up the most amount of homers out of the pen. You have the seventh most walks, the fewest amount of strikeouts. I mean, the Nationals never have a bullpen, but check this out. Hitters are hitting 265 against the Nationals bullpen. In addition to all those walks and home runs, they're hitting 265. They're getting on base all the time. That's basically the same batting average as our all-star Dansby Swanson's batting average against your team. So that's what the average player is doing against your bullpen. So, Johnny, how do you answer for this abysmal performance of your baseball team being not firing on any cylinders?
Well, what do you all think about the idea of playing spoiler? Because we've beaten, there were series in a row that we won 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3 on the road. And so do teams like y'all, the Cubs or anyone, look forward to a team like the Nationals who have nothing to play for other than guts and glory, spoiling and helping you in the ranks?
Well, the Cubs aren't playing for anything either.
It's too late for us ever since you took 3 or 4. I'm looking right now, and I'm seeing who you beat, and you're terrible against Miami. You never beat them. 0-6, 0-4 versus Cincinnati. You're 3-3 versus Philly. You've got a good record against the Mets. You're 4-3 versus them. You beat us.
Thank you, Blue Dabs.
The Padres you beat.
That's what I'm saying is that we're going into these series. We're winning 2 out of 3. It's
you're playing up to the competition. You think like you play better against better team. Well, but I mean the Padres and the Mets aren't necessarily
they beat
great teams.
They beat the Rangers.
I think we're playing in a.
So does it feel like they're? Well, like you said, a spoiler. They're playing up to the teams that have something going on, and the teams that don't have anything going on, they can't seem to get over the hump with them.
Here's an idea. What about this? It's a young team. Is there a chance that they don't care about the bad news? You know, if you had older people that are reading the press or older players that care about their legacy. These are just young people that go out every day and want to win, you know, and they're not looking at a trade deadline. They're not thinking about these other things that might come up. They might just want to fucking win. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I think there's value to that other than the big narratives. You know, we focus on these podcasts, these big narratives of how are we doing? And maybe these kids are just out there and they're young and they want to win. And sometimes they do.
It's what the Reds are doing this year, and that's how they're doing it. I'm going to put up your bullpen here, and there's a lot of 7s and a lot of high numbers, but we will see our old friend possibly on this team with Carl Edwards Jr.
Thaddeus Ward definitely had a fantastic screwball back in like 1894.
Yeah, and we actually saw CJ Edwards against the last time we played the Nationals, and he made the Cubs look dumb.
Yeah, they have Chad Kuhl, who I remember from being a Pirate. But also
Chad Kuhl beat me up in high
Corey
school.
Abbott a Cub too?
I think Corey Abbott was a Cub, and for a bit.
This is a great lineup for playing Immaculate Grid.
Yeah, just a lot of who's who, who's that. But and I see also that Ildemaro Vargas took an inning of work, as did the slugger Lane Thomas. They put him in to pitch as well in this season.
He had a 27 ERA.
Yeah, did not go well for him. So
Ildemaro Vargas, though, best pitcher in baseball right now.
Yeah,
right.
Apparently 0 ERA, just a perfect.
I don't know if you're a right fielder and your ERA is 27, that might actually be good.
But
I
either
agree.
way, if we get to the pen, it should go pretty well.
Well, I think that my audio is echoing, so thank you for having me on.
No,
and
you
I'm
can
going.
stay on. No, please stay on. It just when we're talking, mute yourself. I think that's the way to
It's
do
honestly, it's not echoing to
that
me
bad.
at all. It's just those two.
Yeah, and it's just us. It's not that bad. It's I don't know why it's doing it. It's a little wonky, but let me go through what the pitching matchups are going to be in this series real quick. You got lefty battle of the lefties, Mackenzie Gore. They got him from the Padres, and I think that Juan Soto trade. And then you've got lefty Drew Smiley going up against them. So all coming from the left side. They've got similar ERAs, 4.42 and 4.31. So there's your marquee matchup of the middle rotation pitchers.
MMMMMMM.
Exactly. And then
the marquee matchup of the middles.
The marquee middle matchup with Mackenzie. And then we have game 2, which I think MLB's got it wrong because they said on the radio today that it was going to be, and it made sense with how it would line up. Patrick Corbin, or the ghost of Patrick Corbin, I should say, against Jamison Tyone, who actually was pretty
the
good.
Ghost of Jamison
Tyone, who was actually pretty good last time out against the Yankees. If you recall, he had a really great outing and we beat the Yankees. But Patrick Corbin, he has not been doing that good this year. And then game 3 is going to be Trevor Williams and his father, because his dad is always with him.
No, not anymore. Trevor Williams' dad doesn't go to DC. He was only in Chicago.
Trevor Williams' dad was a Cubs fan. And so when he was a Cub, I'm just explaining this to Johnny. When he was a Cub, he was at almost every single game, cheering him on. And Marquee Network would not let you forget that his dad was on the game because they interviewed him all the damn time. And so it just became a whole thing. But Trevor Williams, he's going out there, former Cub great, 4.42 ERA. Versus Kyle Hendricks, who just gave up 4 home runs this week, and he's got a 3.57 ERA. And then we got 4 games with the Cardinals after that. But Johnny, Patrick Corbin, he was part of that 2019 team. And
that's right, Danny. We've talked about this because I've talked on this podcast about the question of the Cubs win of the World Series and then holding on to these legacy players that were part of the big thing that don't really deliver anymore. And so I think that there are 2 or 3 players left from the 2019 World Series Nats
Robles
franchise. That's right.
Strasburg.
And Corbin and Strasburg, who has announced he's a pitcher. He's announced that he's done. So he had one of those. He signed a 10-year contract. These numbers are in my head. They might not be true. He signed something like a 10-year contract for something like $1 billion and pitched 40 innings after that contract. And
Strasburg is an interesting figure in this franchise in baseball because we all remember when he broke into the scene, right? Like he was so good. And
his first game, he had 16 strikeouts.
Yeah. And then
first game in the majors.
And then they shut him down. This was the big story. They shut him down. They were on the way to the playoffs and they shut him down, their best pitcher, late in that season because they wanted to, quote unquote, protect him. And now here we are. He's should have years and years left, especially with the protection that they gave him. And he's done. And it's sad. Like that is a cautionary tale, I think, about how a pitcher is used and what they do with them. Because, I mean, yeah, there's definitely everything has to be done, I think, according individually.
Well, what's your
to the
point? Would
pitcher.
you have done it differently? Would you have? You're looking back
well,
and
I
you're
think
saying
he
they shut him
wanted to-
down and he still got hurt. Are you saying that they shouldn't have shut him
No,
down?
no,
because he
no.
would've gotten
I
hurt?
think you go for it. I think you go for it when you can go for it. And I think that Steven Strasburg wanted to. And I think that he could. And if he gets through that and they win, and then he implodes and he's dead for the rest of his life, like whatever, he did the thing. Instead, I mean, he did get a ring for sure, but
Yeah.
it was a completely different situation when he did. And I don't know, it's just one of these things that when we talk about all this stuff, you don't know what the right answer is because they did everything in their power to protect this kid. And yet, like you said, he signed a 10-year deal and pitched 40 innings and he's no longer pitching. And they're going to be paying him for the next,
7
100 years or something. It's going to be a Bobby Bonilla situation.
Steven Strasburg did not. He got a ring, but he only pitched 5 innings in that 2019 year too. He wasn't even a part of that team.
Exactly.
It was
And some people.
You're muted, Johnny.
There's some thoughts about the those players that play hard. There's that tall basketball player, I'll look his name up, who plays in Florida, who
tall basketball player.
I should
figure that one out.
Manute Bol.
Okay, well it's not Spud Webb. It's anyone else but him.
He can dunk, man.
You just both like fucking late 80s, early 90s Spud Webb out of your ass. No.
So yeah, well, that is where the Nationals are at. But I'm gonna listen to the games against. Oh, are we putting up what drinks we're drinking? I just want to say that.
Always.
Well, I know that Infield Fly Girl is, drinking a woke beer.
Love my gay beer. It's great.
But I'm drinking something that has less taste, more hate. It's the opposite.
What is it? Gatorade and Everclear? What do you got?
Bush
right.
Light.
When I see Seattle, I say Seattle. Okay, I'm done.
You say Seattle, I see Seattle.
Johnny's dumb jokes are right in my wheelhouse. They hit me every time.
Yeah. Also, David Elliott points out not Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah.
Also,
yet another 40-year-old reference.
Yeah. So, Johnny, we never made a bet this time. We didn't make a bet this year about what to bet. We always do every year. I think you still owe me your last bet, which is he's got to do a Craigslist job. Let's
talk about that briefly. I have shame for not having delivered on the bet. I think about it at least daily. That is not a joke. Here is the part about which I can't wrap my head. And so anyone who's on this can help. The idea I lost, I have to pay up, is that I am going to deliver by doing a online posting an ad. Maybe it's a Craigslist thing. Danny, you looked up people who were looking for in search of poets. In my mind, I was thinking about folks on Craigslist who were looking for people who could put together IKEA furniture. And the idea was that I would sign up and do that job while the entire time wearing Cubs gear and talking about the Cubs. The part about which I can't wrap my head is this seems like a major fuck you to anyone who would hire me. I don't know. I don't I'm like, I don't want to be a jerk. So
I would put it right in the ad.
Yeah. Put it in
asterisk,
the ad.
asterisk, asterisk. This is a payment for a bet. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Please let me build your IKEA couch and chat about the Cubs.
Infield Fly Girl, you nailed it. So I put myself out there. You thank you. I'm glad that we crowdsourced this. So instead of me responding to someone, I put it out there. That's what you're
now
saying.
some weirdo's gonna answer the ad and you'll be killed.
I know, but that would be great.
I mean, it would be funny and everything for the
I
bat
want it
rate.
on film, though. You got to be like, walk up to the door, film
Yeah.
your thing, knock, knock, knock. Hey, here's the guy who gets to deal with me for the next 2.5 hours.
You're gonna get like that one like lonely Cubs fans like I haven't been able to talk about the Cubs all summer.
That's
And then
even
You're
better.
gonna be there. He's gonna be like, "Well, what do you think about this?" And I don't actually.
So,
follow the
true
Cubs.
story, I met one of my best friends by answering a random ad on Craigslist. My son was about 6 months old, and he was big for his size, so all the other babies about 6 months old were just like way too big for him. And anyway, I went looking around on Craigslist just randomly because I like to search the free stuff, and I just happened to look under the childcare section, and there was this like ad for, hey, I want to take in some kids and babysit for money because I'm a stay-at-home mom. And they had a picture of their family, and they just looked really nice. And I was like, I don't need childcare, but maybe our babies could play. And she's like, I got tickets to the zoo. So we met at the zoo the next day, and we've been friends ever since. That was 15 years ago almost.
Did you talk about the Cubs at the zoo? You're like, look at that bear.
She did. Well, no, she did know that I was a Cubs fan, so it helped.
Johnny and I met through the Village Voice, actually.
See, I love it. Meet people in random ways. That's the best.
It was the Village Voice, wasn't it, Johnny? You had answered it. We needed a drummer. Long hours, no pay.
Danny posted the exact text of the advertisement that went out that got Ringo into the Beatles. And said, need whatever it was, I don't remember, but need
Wow, what
drummer,
a
long
letdown.
hours, no pay. And it is the response. It was the ad to which I responded, and that's how I met Danny.
And when you came over, I remember my super in my building had just given me tickets to the symphony, to Carnegie Hall. Was it Carnegie or was it one of the places? And I go, hey, I just got tickets to the symphony. You want to go to the symphony? And you're like, sure. And so we met and then went to the symphony, like the first day we ever hung out.
That is true. This is live. I will write in the chat my memory of that.
When I talk to my note therapist, I'll be like, you got to take me back to the time.
So, unfortunately, this show is pretty much over. We've previewed the Nationals. We told you they stink. We also stink because we just lost the Red Sox. We talked about that. We talked about my Ty guy and how it's the anniversary of him stealing that ball from those nasty children. What else? Oh, we had the engagement on the show. Between Fitzy and Megan. So congratulations to them. It's really been jam packed. It
has been.
We changed the entire direction of this show to a much more stats and numbers based program.
I like.
Did we mention any numbers at all?
Yeah,
hey, we didn't draw the chance yet. Hashtag chance in the chat, y'all.
And we did say one number, which is that we have 115 Patreon supporters that support us and make this show happen. Buy us tickets and beer, and it keeps the wheels greased on the Sun Ranto show. Let me tell you,
114 plus me.
That's right.
Exactly. And also you can pay like Johnny does to come on the show.
We almost killed him there.
So just a couple of announcements. We'll do some TFCs and we'll take the chance drawing and then say goodbye to you all. But happy birthday to Jonathan Evans. Emily Cotton, Michael's wife, is this week. Marla Collins is on Friday. If you remember her, she was the sexy ball girl that Harry Carey would creep on during the broadcast when I was a child.
Was she the kissing bandit?
No, that's Marla.
Marla.
Well, I mean, you said Marla Collins, and then I got.
Oh yeah,
Marla.
Yeah, everyone came down on you hard. Different Marla.
Different Marla. Get your Marlas right. First of all, every sexy chick in the 80s, a Marla. Without it, every time it was a Marla. It was just the name of the time.
That's actually just the misogyny of the time. Was like, we're not going to learn her name. Call her Marla.
So, yeah, Marla Collins' birthday is Friday. And then on Saturday, Robert Davies, a great longtime Patreon supporter, we used to share his bleacher tickets back in 2015, 2016. So, anyway, if you know
That's
Robert.
right. Oh, Terry's in here. Morgana was the kissing bandit.
Oh, Morgana. That's right.
Ah, yes. Not Marla, Morgana.
She was a little bit before my time, but damn it, she is a legend.
That she would come out and like kiss. I mean, they let her do it. Like she would come out and her breast, she's the biggest boobs in the world, and she would run out and kiss George Brett, and then everybody, or like Steve Garvey, or like, and they would just let her, and then people would cheer, be like, "Hey, I was at a game that Morgana was at." Now they would tackle her. She'd be beheaded.
Oh my gosh, like the girl that ran out on Cody Bellinger when he was still on the Dodgers. Y'all remember that?
Oh,
she
yeah.
got creamed, right?
Yeah. They laid her out.
That would be such
Cody
a good
was
video.
like, please.
The whole like 1980s, the woman runs out and kisses Sandberg, and it's all a big thing, and they wave, and everything's fun. And then it's like 2020s, and you just see like guys just beating the shit out of her, just like
shot by a sniper from the upper deck.
T-shirts from the T-shirt cannon just raining down.
There's Kyle Rittenhouse's new job. Like,
oh, God,
sorry, too soon. Too soon.
Down.
No. I've got to say that.
Well, he's doing what he loves. I mean, I guess you gotta.
Yeah. He felt threatened by that fan on the field. So the Shalbum still available. I am running out of sizes of T-shirts for the new Bleacher Bum Band shirt. You can buy it at sunranto.com/bleacherbum. I'll tell you this much. I know I'm nearly out of mediums, and I'm almost out of double XLs. So if that is your size and you've been thinking about buying a shirt or an album, you can buy it there. I'm going to drop the link in the chat as we speak.
So wait, when you went to consider it, you were like, well, I know what my Chicago fans wear. Small.
No, I ordered quite a few extra larges for my Chicago friends. Unfortunately, I couldn't offer quadruple XLs, which I know a couple people wanted. And then the XLs always go fast, but so I ordered extra of those large XL. That's your best. But I did not anticipate as many double XLs that went out the door. I should order more of those. So if that's your size, that's got to order one now. I think I might only have one left.
You know, Danny, one of my favorite things about this show is when you do the end of year, New Year weight loss challenge. And there's an Excel spreadsheet, and people are doing their best to get fit. You might move some new T-shirts.
Exactly. They're like, hey, you can win if you can fit into this small by the end of this competition.
Anybody who makes it to small,
anybody can. So I do want to mention that. Oh, look at that. Goalie Dad put this up in the chat.
Hey, Marla.
Well, I'll go one better, because I actually, if you take that down right here, that's my Marla Collins.
Oh yeah,
actually Crawley.
That's it.
Yeah,
it's literally the same picture right there on Danny's wall.
Yeah,
that's great. That's that nice pullover jersey.
Yeah,
but Danny, yours isn't signed.
It is. No, it is. It's from Crawley. It says
it's signed by Crawley, I think he said.
Yeah, it's signed by Crawley. Yeah, no, it just says "Love Marla Collins," which is nice. Aww. She should love herself. Yeah, you should.
Is that a command? Like, yeah, love her.
Oh, I did as a child.
That's where Morgana was coming from.
Yeah. So I do want to mention, lover of distasteful jokes. We're Dan Nielsen. We're going to be celebrating him on September 20th in his life. His mom and friends are going to be coming out there. So I believe it's a Wednesday versus the Pirates. It will be inexpensive. We're just going to sit in the bleachers. I will make an event notice at some point, but just save that date, September 20th. We're all going to hang out. Remember Dan. I'll say it's going to be a good time because we're going to make sure that it's a good time for Dan and his mom, and we're going to put a little message on the board and stuff, and maybe we'll be a little sad together, but still, it'll be nice to be together. And let's do some TFCs, give away a chance, and then go hang out in the Discord, shall we? I'll do a TFC. You got 2 of them, I see.
I do.
Yeah. Why don't you go first then?
Okay. I got to find them real quick. Okay, so this one, it was, the DH. Everybody knows how much I love the DH and how I'm so excited that it's going to save offensive baseball. And Corey Friedman posts, it's time for everyone's favorite game, John Lester, 2019, 188, 264, 292, 1 home run, 6 RBI, 46 WRC plus, 246 WOBA, 53 plate appearances. And Miles Mastrobuoni, 2023, 155, 268, 197, no home runs, 1 RBI, 37 WRC plus, and a 226 WOBA in 84 plate appearances, because the DH is going to save baseball.
This person should definitely be taking innings away from Christopher Morel.
Yeah.
Good God. Like, he actually plays in games, and John Lester, every 5 games, he was notably the worst hitter that there ever was. What did he go, like 53 straight without like even?
Yeah, because I mean, he grew up in the American League, never hitting ever,
and once he got a chance to play and did it, by the time he was done with the Cubs, he could actually do a couple of things out there. One of my greatest games.
Walk-off bunt was legendary.
Oh, I was at that game. I was right behind the plate. It was amazing. It's like the greatest game I've ever seen live. It was amazing.
So I just got one, and it's a text actually that I received from Steve Trout, because if you remember the pillow mitt that I ordered from Steve a little bit ago, and it was $25, and I sent in my $25, and it, for whatever reason, he didn't get it. It came off my credit card, but he can't find the order, or something's going wrong with it, and so you texted me. He's like, "Yeah, I'm still going to send you the pillow mitt and something." I'm like, "Great." I just kind of chalked it up to one of those things that I'm just never going to get anyway.
It was a $25 story to tell.
Yeah, exactly. And so Steve did write me, and I said, "Hey, I don't think it worked." He goes, "Okay, thanks. I'll mail you a pillow." And then I didn't hear anything from him for a long time. And then today I got a text from Steve. He said, "Hey, still have a pillow." So I think he meant still have a pillow for you. And then because he said for you after that. And he goes, "Not one fold from your podcast. You sure you got listeners?" Just kidding.
Oh, bless.
Well, no, because you went on the podcast and warned everybody.
Yeah,
don't buy it. He's not sending me anything.
Yeah, I tried to order one. I didn't get one, but but apparently it's still in the mail. It's coming. So your order can be guaranteed by me and Steve. Not really. I don't stand by it. But but anyway, I thought that was kind of funny that this is going to be an ongoing saga, I think, for a few years of whether I'm going to get this pillow or not, or we'll see.
Johnny is sitting here. He doesn't know what's going on. We had Steve Trout on. He was hawking a pillow. Danny bought the pillow, sent him money, and never got the pillow.
It didn't. Yeah.
You can't buy betting from someone named Trout. It has a fishy name in the title.
This isn't betting. This is like an 8-inch round piece of fabric from Joann's that has baseballs all over it that you strap to your head in an airplane so you can sleep against the window.
It's basically an oven mitt with a lot of padding, so you can go like this.
As a victim blamer, this is definitely Danny's fault.
I can see in the private chat you've got a TFC too. Hit us.
Okay, well, thank you for bringing it up. I heard a quote recently from someone, and I wanted to share it. Quote, I would have punched a baby and dove into that net for that ball.
I would have. I'm not even
Infield
ashamed
flag
of
girl.
it.
Infield flagger. Nice.
So
I would have too.
if you want to see the pillow mitt, this is it right here. And there he is. Got it in his hand.
Does that include shipping?
Uh,
That photo.
Yes. He looks frightened.
So I'm hoping I get that actual one
Oh.
signed by Steve Trout. So what do you have as your second and final
Oh, this
TFC?
is so obviously the PJ Higgins story is big. They got him for cash considerations, and on Twitter, everybody's going back and forth, and they're all speculating wildly about what's about to happen. Like Danny laid it out. He's like, the AAA catcher's hurt. They needed somebody. Makes sense. But on Twitter, everybody thinks Yan Gomes is gone, and including this guy, which is one of those TFCs that just is a typo, but I loved it. Bye-bye, Yan Gomes. You'll help Simone more than you currently play for. And I was like, I'm sure he's saying you'll help someone, but I love that it's you'll help Simone. And I hope that Yan Gomes does indeed help Simone.
I'd like to think there's somebody named Simone out there that will be helped by all this.
That'll be helped by Yan Gomes for sure.
Yeah. Is that it?
Traded to random people now.
That's the end of the TFCs?
I think that's it.
I just want to point out that cash considerations is ridiculous. Cash is the thing we all consider. Like it's not like throw pillow consideration or Himalayan mountain salt consideration. It's cash.
I mean, why do they even have to say consideration? Just like he was traded for cash. They bought, or they just say they bought him for money. Like you don't even have to say them for money because we know what bought means. It means for money. It's like they bought him from the Diamondbacks. You could just say it that way.
Exactly. And Jennifer thinks that tweet was to Simone Biles.
They're trading Yan Gomes to Simone Biles as she prepares for the Olympics.
So hashtag chance in the chat. You could win the Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with the message of love and doom. Do it now.
And while you're waiting, there's my TFC where I told my tie guy, hey man, I'm glad it was you because I'd have punched a baby in the face to get that ball.
You might have a chance. There's been a lot of babies in the bleachers recently. It's
quality babies.
A little too many babies in the bleachers.
Yeah.
Babies in the bleachers is kind of like a baby in a bar.
That's going to be my next follow-up to no fighting in the bleachers. There are no babies in the bleachers.
What did you teach you?
Oh, babies in the bleachers.
So keep your kids outside.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Just a line like all these kids in strollers just parked next to the field, but nobody's around.
It's kind of like my old song. Johnny remembers my old song, You Can't Look Cool with a Stroller. Remember that one? That was a good one.
I disagree, Danny. You didn't see me rolling back in the day.
Never recorded that. I would be canceled. Good thing I didn't do it. Very disrespectful.
I like how you're worried about that one. That one would cancel. But you also have a song about having sex with a one-legged woman.
Yeah,
okay.
That's a love song. That's a love song.
Also, that was a biography. That's
Also, that really happened. So
that happened.
Yeah.
That was wait. I know. We're doing a show.
Yeah.
So
Johnny was there.
Danny said to her. Danny said to her. Danny said, "What kind of shark bit your leg off?" And she said, She said, "Well, I didn't get his name." Fact.
She was Australian. If you didn't catch the accent,
Oh, I thought she was just like putting on an Australian accent.
No. Those sharks they eat legs down there. That's famous. They're famous.
Draw the chance.
So, all right, we're gonna draw the chance. We'll meet you over in the Discord for a little bit tonight, and here we go. Bum 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 bum. Who will get picked? Who will win? It's David Lieb. Congratulations, David.
Congratulations. Is that a first time winner?
I don't think David's won before. So
that's
congratulations, David.
Oh, look, hey, we got a message in the chat from Chip Paleo. Since I haven't been on the podcast in quite a while, just want to let you guys know I witnessed live the first Cubs victory in Yankee Stadium on my 60th birthday last week.
Awesome.
Yeah. We got birthdays, we got engagements.
We were all trying to figure out why in the hell that happened, and now we know.
Now we know.
Chip was there.
Chip's birthday.
So David Lieb is a first-time winner, so I'm really glad that our Frank Chance postcard is going to a first-time receiver. That's awesome.
Yeah, me
too.
That
just means Danny has to get a new address in his address.
That means I just got to figure out what his address is. Well, a lot of people are going to be having to figure out their address coming up real soon when they get new addresses, when they get traded from the Cubs to another team. And we're on Hug Watch, everybody, for the next couple weeks. We're on Hug Watch. So enjoy the Bleacher Bum Band song, Hug Watch. Spagog, y'all.
Spagog.
So, Johnny, say what you're going to say.
What are we going to say? We'll give you the last word.
Isn't Hug Watch on the new album?
It is.
Sure
is. It is on the new album.
Buy the album. Buy the shalbum.
Here it is.
Spagog.
Spagog.
Hug Watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Hug Watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Hug Watch. Hug Watch, what do you got? Don't want to give up nothing, but you want to get a lot. Division contenders want to take all of the players. Well, they're filling up the system with a bunch of teenagers. Hug Watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Hug Watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Watch. Hug Watch. I was hoping that they'd offer you a new contract, but now the bullpen catch is gonna help me pack. All the fans are sorry to see you go. Sayonara, arrivederci, au revoir, adios. We're singing Hug Watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Hug Watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Hug Watch. Hug Watch. Let's hug. Wishing you the best of luck with your career. The time went by so quickly, but say goodbye to Wrigley, 'cause you can keep on playing, but you can't play singing hug, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Hug, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the hug, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Hug, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Watch. Hug, watch. Hug, watch. Hug, watch.
Thank you.